YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. Welcome to Scuffed Town, USA. Welcome to the least prepared news series of all time. This is one of those great examples of I have grand visions of something that will be huge. It will be monumental. It'll leave its mark on the YouTube space forever. And I said, you know what? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to think about this idea for weeks on end and then just never do it because I'm overwhelmed and it's too much for me. Or I'm like, I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to take some accountability. I'm going to put a first episode out there and I'm going to say next week it'll be better. And if it's not better, you all have permission to DM me pictures of spiders. I'm starting a new series. Look, the channel's a content dump channel. No one asked for this series. I don't know if anyone's even going to be interested in watching it. This is me indulging myself. I've kind of wanted to make sports content basically forever. I've always had this issue of being like, I already have too many YouTube channels, and like I wanted to do music stuff, so I made a whole channel just to do music stuff, and that's obviously been going pretty well. Obviously that's been going pretty well, and it's continuing to go on, and I love it, and want to take that to the next level pretty soon. But I was like, am I really going to start another channel? And then I'm like, okay, what would I do? Because I watched all these different sports. Would I do a Spurs channel? Would I do a sports channel generally? No, because who wants to watch Spurs content and Chargers content and Bucks content? Like, the mishmash wouldn't really work. So I was like, okay, I thought about maybe doing a Spurs one, but then who cares? And I was like, you know what? Right now, I'm in the mood for I'm just in the mood to talk Chargers. I keep watching Chargers games, and look, after I could watch a Spurs game and talk for 2 hours immediately after the game. That's not what we're doing here. We're talking about the Chargers, right? For one. Maybe we'll tackle Spurs another day. I may end up doing a project with an IRL friend of mine. We may not. We keep talking about it and then not doing anything about it. So it's one of those where it's like on the back burner. Maybe if we fully have that motivation one day to do it, it may happen. We'll see. Maybe I'll make some Spurs. I don't know. Look, there's a lot of Spurs influencers around. I'm not gonna lie. I follow most of them on Twitter. It's there's a lot going on right now, and I'm like, you know what? I watched a Chargers game this weekend, and I was like, I want to talk about it a little bit. Now, will I admit something? Did I have a lot more to say on Sunday night than I now have to say on Tuesday night? Yes, absolutely. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to put it up. We're going to see how it goes. My intention next week is to have a whole new overlay right here for me to be like my main screen that I'll be talking on. There'll be information, some stats and whatnot. It'll just be like static info on the screen, but maybe I can have it fade between some stuff. There'll be some stats, score, all sorts of interesting thing going on the screen. It'll be more Chargers oriented, and I'd like some other ones. Like I'd like a separate one that I can pull up if I want to pull up like footage, so to speak. If we want to roll any tapes, if I want to pull up any images, and I'm going to put a little bit more sauce on the production value. For today though, I'm completely here to wing it. Let's talk about the Chargers game. Okay, so Halloween. And oh boy, did it fit the theme. It was scary, it was stressful, and I hated every second of it. Actually, I like Halloween. It was scary, it was stressful. Let's put a period after that one. Halloween, October 31st, 2021. We played the Patriots. We played them at SoFi. Right? Yeah. Yeah. I played them at the SoFi. It's been a long-ass day, and I've had, like, no sleep. 27-24. We lost the game by 3. We love a tight one. We love a tight one. However, we get absolutely blown out by Baltimore not the week before because it was our bye a couple of weeks before. Here's where I'm at with this. You know what? I was mad. I was upset about that game. I tweeted on my personal account, which I won't link in the description because it's currently private because I've been applying for social media focused jobs and didn't want them to see. I was like, there's nothing bad on there. But I tweet about like I sometimes will say like horny stuff on there. So we don't worry. We make that a little bit private. But I said something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm really glad the Chargers remembered who they are and went back to playing like complete shit because at 4-1, I was getting a little worried for a second there at 4-1 that we were about to have a good season. No, not my Chargers." Yeah, we played like complete shit against Baltimore. We don't need to talk about that. There's nothing to talk about. Don't worry about it. Herbie had an off game. Good time to bounce back. I've been all season. I was looking at this one and going, "This is a game that we could lose." I felt I didn't have good feelings about this game. Now, granted, they absolutely tore us apart last year. What was it, 42-0 or 44-0 or something ridiculous? So obviously that's going to be in my brain. Now, granted, since that game, we were 8-2. I don't know what the Patriots were like 4-7 or something. I don't know. We had a bit of a turnaround, right? That game was awful. Was that the game that sent us to 3-9? Obviously, we closed out the season. Yeah, that was the game that sent us 3-9. Won 4 straight to close out the season. Finished 7-9. Started this season, and we were 4-2 going into that game, right? I always saw that as a stumbling block. It was written in the start. People thought thought that could be a big win. Herbie, before that game, was 5-0 when returning to teams that he'd lost against first, right? Chiefs, lost against them the first time, beat them second time. Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos. Did all 3 of those we lose the first game and beat the second time? I think. Who the fuck else? I don't know if that's off the top of my head. 5-0 against teams that he went against, lost, came back to, right? He's a learning quarterback. He's a young fella. I just had a bad feeling about this one. I've been watching Mac Jones. He's been doing well. He's, as far as I'm concerned, we can talk about Lawrence a little bit, but I don't know about Lawrence, but he's definitely, that's the second quality quarterback of the draft this year. Field settling in or whatever. Zach Wilson was an absolute flop. Mac Jones has been doing well in my opinion. You got Bill Belichick next to him. He's been doing well. That's it. I think he's been playing well. I think he played well this weekend against us. I just saw this as a trip up. After the Baltimore game, people were like, "Oh, the schedule gets easier after the bye. We're 4-2. Schedule gets easier." This one, I just didn't see it going right. The way their defense is set up. And then you look at, we've got the Eagles next, and then we've got the Vikings, and the Vikings is a tough game. You've also got to consider wild card implications potentially. Who the fuck knows who is winning our division at this point? Literally, it was only 2 weeks ago that I was like, yeah, the Chiefs are going to figure it out and get it together. I was watching that Giants game last night. They were bailed out from a very close offside call. It was offside. There was an offside. Mahomes threw the game away again, and they got bailed out, and then they went up the other end, kicked the field goal, ended up winning 20-17. That pick, if it wasn't for that tiny little offside by a fraction of a second, that's the Giants winning that game, and that's the Chiefs 3-5, right? They scraped through. That one against the Giants. At this point, I don't fucking know who's winning this division, man. I'm not confident enough to say it's us. I think my money's still on the Chiefs, right? So all I'm saying is, I'm at the point now where I'm looking ahead to that wild card fight. I'm looking ahead to the wild card teams, the potentiality there. It doesn't help that you've got the Bengals and the Browns and the Ravens and the Steelers all potentially. You would think that the Ravens are winning that division. You would think that the Steelers are probably going to drop off. I don't know. They've got Juju to come back. They've got Claypool to come back. I don't know. We'll see. And we have to play the Steelers. You're looking at, the Bengals and the Browns potentially. I'm going to pull it up actually. Let's pull up the standings here. Let's have a little look at the standings here. Let's get into the old AFC. Obviously, the Jets and the Dolphins are going to fall off. Obviously, I think the Bills is comfortably winning that division. Patriots, that's a wildcard team. That's a big game. Whatever's going on with us, whoever wins our division, you're going to have 2 teams going for that wildcard right there, right? Us and the Raiders, us and the Chiefs. Raiders and the Chiefs. And then the AFC South is probably going to be the Colts. We'll see how much of a threat they are. That was a big loss for them this weekend against the Titans. You're looking at those wildcard games. That was big to beat the Browns. We have to play the Bengals. We have to play the Steelers. That Patriots game. You keep an eye on that one. And you're at this point where every game. And look, this is how football is. This is what makes it exciting compared to... Look, hockey. I love hockey. I wouldn't change the hockey season. Basketball season could maybe be like 20 games shorter, but also I think it's not too bad as it is, but it could be like 20 games shorter. Baseball season needs to be shorter. I don't give a fuck. It's too long. I don't care. That's too long. 162 games is too many games. Look at the football season. It's great because from the get-go every game matters. It might not necessarily always feel like it right at the start, and you get to the middle when records are starting to kick up and every game's starting to make a difference, and then you get to the end when it's like you're really fighting for it depending on where you are. But We're getting a mid-season, it's getting exciting. Maybe early on it doesn't feel like it, but every game matters, right? You look ahead now, we need to be winning the games against the teams we're expected to beat. We need to beat the Broncos twice. We need to beat the Eagles. We need to beat the Giants, because we need to beat the Texans. You need to pick those up. You need to get the win column up. Then you're looking at divisional games. So obviously the Raiders games and the Chiefs games are very important if it's going to come down to that at the end of the season. Then you're looking at wild card games. We've still got to play the Steelers. We've still got to play the Steelers, and we've still got to play the Bengals, right? Why am I not seeing this right now? You guys are, oh yeah, we still got to play the Steelers. Let's give a little one of these. Give a little one of these. Give a little one of. Oopsie. Okay, you can't see me right at this moment, but that's fine. Nope. You saw nothing. And then you've got this freak little game in the middle. I think a couple of weeks ago when people were saying, hey, the schedule gets a bit easier after the bye, I think people are including the Vikings in that, and I think people are maybe including the Steelers in that, but I don't think these are going to be as easy games as people think. These are going to be very fucking difficult games, in my personal opinion. You're at this point now, every game has implications. You need to pick up the wins against games like this, games like this, games like this, games like this. Wildcard implications. Wildcard implications. This is a very fucking tough game. These Vikings could be fighting for their goddamn lives at this point. They're 3-4 right now. They could be, 2 weeks away? They could be 5-4. They could be 3-6, in which case that's a must-win game to keep them alive. That Patriots game mattered. All that to say that this game mattered, right? Let's start with the positives here. Dustin Hopkins. What a leg on that guy. Look, historically we've struggled with kickers. I'm not going to lie. I had faith in Badgley and I was disappointed we let him go. Last season, people will look at it and they'll go, but what about, he wasn't, what was his kicking percentage last season? Let me check this actually. They were like, it felt like he was missing kicks at crucial times. He's on the Colts now, right? The Colts picked him up after Blankenship got hurt. Let's look at his percentage here. Let's look at his career stats for one Mr. Money Badger. I can't say that, he'll sue me. Right, you're looking at, okay, so he went from 81%, 13 of 16 to 24 of 33. I personally was of the opinion we stick by our boy. He's on the Colts, right? He started the season on the Titans. It's got them in the wrong order on Google and it threw me off and I was doubting myself. But no, he started the season on the Titans when he's on the Colts now because of Blankenship. Yeah. It had the Titans above as if that was most recent and it threw me off even though I had just said that he's on the Colts. I was of the personal opinion you stick by your boy, he's going to come true again. I thought, considering just how often we were cycling through kickers before Badgley, I was like, we just got 2 full seasons out of him. Or like a full season and like 3/4 of a season. I think he's going to do well. I think he's going to have a good little run at the Colts. I don't even remember how long Blankenship's out. And I think he's going to be someone's kicker next season. And I think he's going to... I wanted to stick by him, right? For whatever reason, they decided to cut him. They have Tristan Vizcaino. And they were like, yeah, this is our guy. We have faith in him. Boy missed 5 extra points in 5 weeks. 2 of them in the same game. And it stung us. The only reason why those 2 extra missed points in the same game didn't hurt too much was because it was the Browns game, and fortunately our offense was just absolutely on fire that night, and we managed to save ourselves. We managed to have a 2-point conversion at some point, and took the points back. It is what it is. He was missing field goals left and right. He was missing them at bad timing, like bad times. Some of his misses were like, you're looking at this kid and going, you're sort of evaluating him, and it's like, it's one thing if he misses, but he was scuffing him, man. Like something wasn't right, and it was reaching a point where I was equally as confident in our offense going for 2 points, going for 2, as I was as Vizcaino making the extra point. The extra point should be like almost expected. It's 7-0. The team losing scores a touchdown. It's 7-6. You're like, in your head, you're like, that's the game tied. Assuming the point goes through, it's the game tied. But naturally, you're going to assume, you're like, barring the point not, that's the game tied, right? The touchdown, that's a tie game. And then if they miss, you're like, oh shit, they missed. For us, every time it happened, I was like, still, that wasn't it. Like, my confidence wasn't restored. That like relief from being down 7 to then getting the touchdown and knowing it's tied, I didn't have that relief yet, because every time it happened, twice in the Browns game this happened, every time it happened, I was like, he's still got, there's no excitement yet. He's still got to make the extra point. Surely enough, late in the game, we tied it up, and he missed the extra point, and there was like 4 minutes left. And thankfully, we got the ball back. We ended up winning. Whatever, is what it is. Hopkins made his extra points. He had one kick, and it was from 48 yards, and it was good. Were the Washington fans in our replies when we got him saying he was inconsistent for us, he was shit, his numbers might look good, but like he makes some bad misses at bad times, like maybe he's bad under pressure. But then there were still people being like, hey, he'll go on to you and do well. Same thing happens to us. Joe Badgley's going to do well. Young Koku, shite for us, let him go after about 5 games. Killer. Cold hide. Young Koku. As of right now, though, I just want someone who can make the extra points, and like look, I'm happy with that. Positive number 2, Eckler. Boy was questionable. Apparently his hip hurt, got a couple of days off. Saturday night hits up his Instagram story, screenshot of him starting in his own fantasy team with a little winky emoji. The boy is just like, I could list him as a positive and then just move on. You know what I mean? I wish that drive at the very end of the game was like more of the game and not just like right at the end when it ended up not mattering anyway. But look, dude is heck. He stepped up. He was definitely our best offensive performer. It obviously wasn't Herbie's game. Keenan had an alright game, but we're gonna get to the receivers. Let us down a little bit. Actually, I think Dalvin Cook did alright, to be fair. Obviously, Keenan did have a touchdown catch as well. We'll get to that though. I think for the most part we let down a little bit. Justin Jackson, I never doubted the boy. Eck gets on the mic and goes, I need people to step up. I need an RB2 to step up. I need people behind me to step up. Justin Jackson, he'd heard that and he took that personally, and he went out there and said, I'm going to run for 70 yards right now. And then like 2 more yards for the entire rest of the game. It puts me in an awkward position because I'm like leader of the Justin Jackson slander patrol. Not patrol. I guess the people stopping me would be on the patrol. I'm the leader of that. I don't want to talk shit about my own players, right? About the players on my team. I want to support my boys. I want to support my team. And I like Justin Jackson as a person. He has like 1 good game a year though, and we need something behind Eck. Roundtree, he's a rookie. Maybe Josh Kelly doesn't seem to quite. But at the same time, I can't slander him too much now because he had that 70-yard run that ended up eventually being a touchdown. Yeah, that was Keenan's touchdown, right? But at the end of the day, Austin Eckler is Austin Eckler, and he's carrying my fantasy team again. Right, now let's get started on the negatives. We have the worst run defense in the league still. It was 27th going into the Browns game, and then Hunt and Chubb between them put up like 280 yards. Thankfully, we just about outshot that day. Big win, by the way. After that game, it's last. We go up against Baltimore. Let's see what happens here. We got Lamar Jackson. Yeah. Lamar and like both of their running backs put up. I'm trying to how many rushing yards? Let me just have a little look here. See what they put up total. Okay, yeah, here we go. Devonta Freeman put up 53, Lamar put up 51, Latavius Murray put up 44, Le'Veon Bell put up 18. Okay, let's look at the average yards per run here. 5.9 from Freeman, 6.4 from Jackson, from Lamar, 4.9 from Murray, 2.2 from Bell, 11 from Duvernay. Devonta Freeman, Latavius Murray, and Le'Veon Bell all had touchdowns. each. It wasn't Lamar's best game. He threw 2 picks. Wasn't Herbie's best game either. Although, to be fair, Herbie threw more yards, more completed passes, and 1 fewer picks. So, I don't know. Interesting. Just throwing that one out there. Obviously, it didn't matter for anything in the end. No, okay. Run it back a little bit here. Run it back a little bit here. What the fuck have I just clicked on? Run it back a little bit here. Let's look at the Browns. Nick Chubb. Oh, what the fuck? Why did I thought Hunt put up... I thought they put up over 100 each, but to be fair, it's still 220 between the two of them, which is crazy. Chubb put up 161. Hunt put up 61. 3 touchdowns between them. Okay, let's run it back. Stop clicking on the wrong thing, idiot. I know you guys can't see my screen right now. Let's run back to the week before that. How was it against the Raiders? I'm not even that bad against the Raiders. Look, my point is, we were 27th going into the Browns game. We were last after the Browns game. We were still last after the Ravens game. You're then going into a bye. You're looking at the Patriots, right? Every run was piercing. Again, I don't know what the average carry of the game was, but Harris, okay, 3.5, 6.5, 3.1. It felt like Harris was making like 5 yards on every play. It felt like they felt impossible to stop because they always had that trump card of, we'll just give it to Harris, and if we need 5 yards, he'll just run through and make 5 yards every time. It feels like our safeties are getting used to it. Like they're not even going that deep because they're like ready to make the stop. But at that point, obviously they've already made the 5 yards. At least this week, it didn't feel like there were many big running plays. Is that a positive? I don't know. And you're starting to leak in other places because it means you've got safeties coming deeper. It means you've almost got like corners keeping their eyes out at this point, and then you're ending up with like Bourne and Aguilar both were like wide free open on 3rd down like multiple times because they were looking at it and it'd be like 3rd and 5 and everyone's like, it's like, oh, it's 3rd and 5, so they're gonna give it to Harris and he's just gonna run through, and everyone's like looking for the run, and then Kendrick Bourne's 20 yards up the field with no corner on him because Samuel Asante Jr. is playing as like a fake safety. We just get it together a little bit, in my opinion. But you just, first of all, stay switched on, because holy shit, how many 3rd down conversions did they have this week? It felt like every time it got to 3rd down, they were going to make it. Just stay switched on. How have we just had the bye in the pass? The running game is the running defense is still. It didn't even improve a little bit. What's going on there? Now, granted, we were without Justin Jones for a few weeks. We got Justin Jones back. He played this weekend. Maybe got a little bit hurt, so I'm not 100% sure where we're at with that right now. But I think he's maybe fine. That we can't do it. You can't you can't be a competitive team with the worst run defense in the league, but the worst like anything in. You got the worst run defense in the league, worst passing defense in the league, worst like run or passing offense in the league. Those important stats, you can't be worst in the league at one of them, because there's nothing. It's one thing if you have like a certain style of play and teams start to figure that out. There's nothing to figure out here. Just run the ball. Especially late in the game where we're trailing and they're trying to kill time anyway, because not only are you going to be able to kill that time, but you're going to keep getting the first downs, and it's so easy to kill off games against us, I feel. Yeah, the wide receivers, I think, let Herbie down this week. Look, it wasn't Herbie's best week. After the Ravens game, I was like, he had one stinker game. He had one stinker game last season, right? It's not like it's not suddenly crap just because he had one stinker game. Did he bounce back exactly how I hoped he would this weekend? Not really. Now, I will say, I'm glad we got the touchdown pass at the end for statistical purposes, because looking at his numbers, it would have looked a lot worse if it wasn't for that drive at the end, because he went for like 5 for 6 on passes, and for like 60, added an extra 60 yards and a touchdown pass on that little drive at the end. At the time, I was annoyed because I was like, why the fuck did we not just play this well the whole time? And why the fuck were we not just giving it to Eck the whole time? Because I think he was targeted like 4 times on that drive and only dropped it once. And it was like, unfortunately he dropped it because he like had it in his hands. Well, he still dropped it, so I guess it is what it is. Whereas Mike and Keenan had been making 50-50 drops the whole game. So I was like, why didn't we do this? But it was a nice looking drive, and Palmer's catch was crazy. Palmer's catch, pristine. Side note, I need to find out, I just mentioned Samuel Asante Jr. I need to find out how his injury's doing, because he went off at one point and was questionable to return, and then came back and then got hurt again, and then I didn't hear anything else. He has been so far my favourite pick of the rookies this year. I think he's looking like a good one. Tweeted about him, love that guy. Yeah, there were 2 third down plays, one from Keenan and one from Mike Williams, where the pass was perfect. It was there, and both of them tried to do too much. Keenan a little bit more. I don't know what Mike was doing, but I think it just looked like he didn't, like he had it and then just kind of like was, I don't know what he was doing. He was trying to turn us to twist or something. But I feel like I was like, if he just really put his mind to holding that ball. Okay, that's a bit shitty of me to say, because it's not like he was trying to catch it. But I was like, if he really fucking, really went for it, he's not dropping that ball. He dropped the ball. Fourth down, we're out. Keenan had one where he had it in his hand, and I don't know if he knew where whoever it was that was making the tackle was behind him. But I watched him catch it, have it in his hands, turn, get hit because he turned, and then drop the ball. And I was like, if my guy just holds it, he's gonna go down, right? He's gonna get tackled. But that's first down. We were on like 3rd and 8, and you've got a first down there. But he tried to turn and run, and I was like, he's sometimes, and maybe the call wasn't right. Maybe that was always going to be his intention. That was the play call. He was going to grab it. He was going to turn. He was going to run. He didn't know. Maybe the communication wasn't there. He didn't know there was someone behind him. But I was like, man, if you just hold it, baby boy, just hold it, and we're going. That one hurt me a little bit. And to be fair, they ruled it an incompletion. And then the commentators were like, oh yeah, he had it in his hand and turned and dropped it. So actually, he probably, that was a catch, and then he should have been down by contact. He would have been down from the tackle anyway, and then it would have been short anyway. But they were still like, so it didn't make a difference anyway, because he got pulled back. He was like a yard short and got pulled back. Am I getting plays mixed up here? I'd love to play this one. I'd love to check the tape on this one. But for some reason, that one pass got like really weirdly cut out of the highlights video, so you just can't see at all, which is unfortunate, because right from when I decided I was going to make this video, I was like, I'm going to talk about that play. I think, no, it would have made it, because I was like, why didn't he just catch it and then it would have been first down? So then why, I guess when they were saying it was a fumble, but then I guess the ball was fumbled backwards, so it wouldn't have been, then it would have been short. Weird play. I'd love to review that one. Calm. He should have just held on to it, and I was disappointed, the picks, gotta be honest, I'm not too mad at him for the first one. It was deflected up, it was just one of them ones. The timing of that first pick was just horrific. To be up and like with the ball, with what was it, like 53 seconds left in the half, knowing that they're getting the ball back after they're getting the ball in the second half, just like don't do anything crazy. It would have been nice to put like a field goal up on the board before it went in. We had time to do that. Let's refer to the tape on this one. We had time to do that. Oh fuck, now I need to remember where this was. There we go, right? There's a minute left on the clock. We have a timeout. We're our own, well, the 39. Call it the 40. Second and 10. There's time here, right? At the very least, you're up by 4. go in, still up by 4, take enough time off the clock that we run it down ourselves, potentially. Take enough time off the clock that if they get it back, they're just going to take it and kneel. At the very least, you go in up by 4 here. Or, just, like, keep your heads together. You only need, what, like, 25 yards here? And then you're at least having an attempt at the field goal. If you don't make it, you go in and up by 4. You make it, you're going in up by 7. Alternatively, get a little crazy, get a little fast and loose. It's just. Look, you don't need me to tell you this. It's just a bad time for a turnover. Was that Eck? It's Eckler, yeah. Okay. No, I actually didn't even realise that was Eck. Should Eck have caught that? Look, he's absolutely tiny, but maybe he could have caught that. It was in his hand. Maybe he could have caught that. However, do I blame Herbie too much for that one? I'm looking at this and I'm like, could the pass have been a little lower, knowing that that's Eck? If you're aware of the fact that that's the route that Eck's running, you know that that's where he's going to be, you know that that pass is for Eck, maybe you throw that a little bit lower, right? You see him behind, maybe just be a little bit more careful with this pass. However, it does look like Eck maybe could have caught that. I'm not too mad. It's unfortunate. The timing fricked us though, because obviously they then went on, kicked the field goal. All of a sudden, they're getting the ball and they're only down by 1 when they could have been down by 7, right? The other pick, when the fuck even was it? That one, I am a little... Right, it's here, right? Yeah. Cook wasn't even looking, man. And obviously, pick 6 or pick 8. Well, actually, no. I guess even if they went for what it's still called a pick 6. But obviously, they then went for the 2-point conversion as well. So this ended up. Look, this stung. This stung bad. And then after this play, after this drive, when we got the ball back, he made a pass to Eck for 10 yards, got the first down, and then we went 3 and out. And then they got the ball back when they were up, and then they ended up kicking the field goal, going up by 2 scores. Look, it was problematic, right? This just wasn't the one. The communication was there. What is going on with Cook here? Because Cook had a good game, actually, to be fair. Apart from this one moment, he was doing fine all game, and he's been pretty good for us. Like, he'll get targeted, like, 4 times, and we'll get 3 of them, and the 4th one, it's like never really is. He's been pretty solid for us. He's good for... He's been doing well for us. I love Hunter Henry. This game was very painful for me. It upset me when he made that, like, 40-yard play and was, like, desperate for the touchdown, and then was frustrated that he didn't get it, but celebrated like he just saved his life for having the big play. And it was a little heartbreaking that he was the one that recovered the onside kick, but very poetic. However, I like how Cook's been this season. The boy doesn't even turn around until the ball's already thrown. Also, I just spent that whole, like, ramble circling whoever the hell this is. Is that Guyton? I just spent that whole ramble circling my cursor around. I think that's Guyton. Is that 15? When Cook's actually here, but pretend that whole time that I was doing this. I'd be crap on as like a commentator, because I'd just be like drawing circles around random people. So like take a look at what Jared Cook does down here. Take a look at this block from Jared Cook. Okay, little block there, gives Herbie a little bit of time. Tries to block it. The ball's thrown. The ball's thrown. He's facing forward. The ball's thrown. Facing forward. This guy, he's not going to... This guy, look at how much space there is here. He's not looking to tackle Cook here. Even he knows that Cook is oblivious. He's running for the ball. This guy's got eyes on the ball. Watch his path here. He doesn't... Straight path, that is. And then at that point you're fucked, because Cook is so slow to react that even Cook, he turns around and is like, I love this. He's like, oh shit. like he turns around and like looks at the ball on the floor and has like a little moment of hesitation. Like, look, he's just stood looking and he's like, fuck. And then at this point, what, Herbie's going to push him out of, like... One of them ones in it. One of them ones in it. That one was rough. That one, in my opinion, is equally on Herbie and Cook. I don't know if there was a communication error there in that Cook didn't know that he was going to go for the ball. And that's why he didn't turn around, because he was under the impression it wasn't going to come to him. Maybe it was a communication between the whole setup there, the whole team, between Herbie and Cook. I don't know. But the pass from Herbie wasn't it. Unfortunately, I do think that one was just wasn't the one from Herbie. And I think that Cook is also a little bit like he should have turned around maybe. But I don't know if you can you really fault him if he genuinely was under the impression that ball wasn't going to go to him? In which case maybe that's communication breakdown. That's a tough one. That's a toughie for me. This was only meant to be 20 minutes. I'm already 35 minutes in, and I want to do a Skyrim video, so I'm going to start wrapping things up. Starting field position ? I wanted to talk a little bit about Roberts. What the fuck is his first name? Andre Roberts. He was fine, to be fair. We had the worst starting field position in the league by average going into this game. I don't know if that changed. We felt like at the very least we were pretty consistently starting around the 25 in that game. There was definitely at least a drive when we started from the 15, which is about where we've been starting all season. But it didn't feel like it was as much of a curse. What I want to see against the Eagles next week, Sunday, at, I don't actually know what time, 9:05 p.m. Do we only have one more early kickoff game between now and the end of the season? Jesus. Oh no, we have two of the Bengals. 9:05 p.m. I enjoyed the clocks being back while it lasted. That Patriots game starting at 8 p.m. Everything being an hour earlier. I love that 1 week I get where the clocks go back over here before they go back in America and everything's an hour earlier. Or my friends are around an hour earlier and go to bed an hour earlier, so I can go to bed an hour earlier. Oh, it's pristine. I love it. 9 p.m. Here's what I want to see against the Eagles. This is fucking not an easy... We're expected to win it. We're the favourites. This is at the SoFi again, right? No? The Eagles put up 44 points last week against, the Lions. The Eagles gave the Raiders a game. They gave the Bucks a game. They gave the Chiefs a game. I watched all of those games because I'm sure all of these, I think at least one of these was like a Monday Night Football game, and maybe one of them was a Thursday Night Football game. But these games definitely all happened when Chargers games weren't going on. I like to do rival watch for the Raiders and the Chiefs, and I just like to watch the Bucks because my good friend Josh is a Bucks fan, and a big Brady fan in particular. Eagles absolutely stomped the Falcons, right? The last 5 games just about scraped it out over the Panthers, but they beat them. Not a terrible team, the Panthers. They gave the Chiefs a game. And actually, to be fair, at one point the Chiefs were up by like 20 plus, and then they kind of pulled it back a little bit at the end, so maybe that down by 12, maybe I'm giving them a little bit more credit than that. They still gave them, I would suggest they gave them a bit of a game. They gave the Bucks a game, they gave the Raiders a game. Let's have a little look at the stats here. Because let's be real, we're looking at the run. Jalen Hurts had 71 yards last week, averaged 10 yards a run. Boston Scott, 5 yards a run, 60 yards. Jordan Howard, 4.8 yards a run, 57 yards on 12 carries. Kenneth Gainwell, look, if anyone is going to tear us apart, let Gainwell get some yards, because I put him into my fantasy team this week in my flex spot ahead of Lockett, and he got 2 points, and Lockett got like 27 or something, and I ended up just winning this week by like 3 points or something, so if I lost, I would have been fucking furious. And Derrick Henry's out, and I haven't figured out how I'm going to replace Derrick Henry yet, so I think Kenneth Gainwell is going to be starting for me. If anyone's going to run, just let Gainwell have it, man. We just need to we need to tighten up, because look, last week against the Lions, they only had 114 passing yards. Jalen Hurts had 103 yards, and then Gardner Minshew threw 11. They were running and running and running. We need to fucking stop that run, man. 71 from Hurts, 60 from Scott, 57 from Howard, 27 from Gainwell, 21 from Rager. Also, Dallas Goedert is my starting tight end at the minute. Although he started this week because it was the Raiders' bye, so I guess I'm going to have a decision to make whether I play him or Waller. So I may play him, because if he has a very good game, I'll get fantasy points out of it. 6 receptions for 72 yards, 12 yards a catch. Devonta Smith, 1 for 15. Obviously, that was pretty... So basically, like, most of their catches went through Goedert. That's interesting. Stop the rush. Obviously. Big one, rhythm. You look at games like the Browns. We won that game because we didn't punt it. We scored on every drive. Granted, Baker and the Browns were also in a good rhythm. Who cares? They lost. Rhythm. We clearly were in rhythm from the start of the game. We kept that going. Rhythm was completely disrupted against Baltimore. We wobble when we lose our rhythm. Look at the Raiders game. We started off out of the gates. We went up 14-0, and then we lost it and had like 3 and outs in a row, and it got really dicey. And then we closed it out. We get wobbly, and we start to panic, and we start to feel the pressure. When we're against something like the Ravens, we felt unstoppable. Yeah, we took 42 points that game, right? But we put up 47, and that's all that matters, because we went, and whatever was going on with the defense, we knew that the offense was going. It was going. Eckler was unstoppable. He was trying to stop at the line, and the Browns defense was pushing him in just because of time purposes. That's sort of the point we're at, where we're like, we need to score to go back up ahead, but also, like, we know we're going to get it, so I can linger a little bit. The offense, you're feeling something on that. This is an offense that's been going for it on 4th down at every available opportunity where it wouldn't just be a curse to do so. There's confidence in this offense. We have Justin Herbert, we have Eckler, we have Keenan Allen, we have Mike Williams, we have Cook and Guyton. In my opinion, people don't talk about Guyton much, but he has a little clutch moment in him. That boy has a little clutch moment in him. Donald Parham? Who, you ask? That boy, trust me, that boy pops up. He's about 7'1", tight end. That boy can pop up for a clutch moment. We just didn't get that rhythm going. We had no rhythm at all against the Ravens, and it fucked us. This weekend, exactly the same thing happened. We started, we went up. First drive, we went up. Eckler strong-armed the entire Patriots roster about 20 yards. And I'm like, we got this. Second possession, we go up again. Keenan Allen, touchdown. Or was it the third possession? Point is, we went up 14 quite early. Then we just completely lost rhythm. Ah, fuck. Maria's doing her weeklies in 5 minutes. Go. Completely lost rhythm. Oh, fucking hell, I have Genshin DMs. Just finishing up video. Be on in 5. Yes. Shout out to you in my video. Take me home. Shout out to Maria. Go and watch her carp. Go and watch her harp covers on YouTube. Maria Fisher. YouTube.com/Maria Fisher Harp. I'm gonna go do dailies with her. Sub to Maria. No, Josh, you fucker. You little shit. Make sure to blur out our names. You're the only one whose names show up. And I now have to blur because you said that. You frickin' frick. Confidence. Herbert has confidence. We have confidence. This is a good offense, and this team knows each other, and they purr, and they're a well-oiled machine. We can't let... And that was a big thing after the Baltimore game. You can't let that fuck us. We needed to bounce back. Did we bounce back? Was it the performance we wanted? No. We can't let this affect our confidence. It's a new game. Go in. Just run your sets, baby. Run your sets, because these players perform better when they're confident. Herbie in particular. Herbie in particular, and you saw this at the end of the game. He threw that pick late on, and it was, as I said, bad one. It was a bad pick to throw. Pick 6, no less. Puts them ahead, puts them in the driving seat. Arguably lost the game on that play, right? He came back on that final drive, and it was nothing. It didn't feel like it hurt him, confidence-wise. We just need to keep in that confidence. You can't let it affect us. Stop the run. There you go. Okay, I want to go do weeklies now. My brain has been... You've dangled candy in front of me and I'm thinking about something else. What the fuck time is it over there? It's 3:30. What's this maniac doing on Genshin at 3:30 in the afternoon? Hey, Zeus. Thank you guys for existing. Next week's gonna be better. Wasn't supposed to... This was... When I... From the get-go, this was gonna be a 20-minute... Like, when I tweeted, like, hey, I might do a weekly Chargers review, this was supposed to be like a little 20-minute thoughts every week. Apparently it's accidentally a podcast. Next week, there's going to be an overlay. I'm sorry that it literally was just me rambling. My intention is to do more, like, to do more, like, clip showing, to do more, like, I'm just gonna have more going on, so it doesn't just feel like a shit podcast. I want to actually have some more visual elements, and also I want to actually plan more what I'm going to talk about, because literally, I have notes here. Look, I'll pull them up, actually. Display capture. Nope, let me pull them up on here, display capture. These were my notes. This is all I came up with. Positives, Hopkins, Eckler. Negatives, the run, grr. Wide receivers let us down. The picks, and then rhythm confidence. These were all my notes this week. Next week, I want to actually have a bit more format to it, and like actually know a bit more about what I want to talk about. Whereas I kind of just winged it a little bit this week. But hopefully next week will be better, because I'll try and have some like visual element and more going on. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for indulging me, if anyone did watch this, because it was just something I wanted to do. I appreciate you all, and I'll see everyone in the next video. Later, guys. Bolt up. Bolt gang or do not friggin' bang, baby. Later, guys. Bonk.